is ready, so...
Yeah. Ryung versus Strelok here at IPL. Terran versus Terran. Korea versus the world again.
Yes, indeed. Things are going to get started on Shakur's Plateau once again. The countdown has started, and we're going to move into game number 1.
That's right. Keep going, countdown. Don't stop.
Anticipation screen incoming. There it is. All right, so things are going to load up here pretty soon, and TVT action is the order of the day. Both these players have very differing styles, and I can't wait to see what they're going to pull out here. As in the top right-hand corner, we have the one and only Imba FXO Strelok. He is spawning as our Teal Terran player. So give a cheer for Strelok.
That's right, and down at the bottom of the map, in the red, all the way from Korea, is our Terran from the team Slayers. His name means ghost. He's the Terran sniper. Let's give it up for Slayers Ryung.
Didn't know that. Once again, the more you know.
That's true. Well, Ryung is kind of like a shortened sort of term for like spirit or ghost. So, and he does like ghosts as well. So that's why they call him the Terran sniper and things like that.
Fascinated him. He doesn't he just hasn't met ghosts that he's on a friendly basis with, I assume.
Maybe that's true too. Who knows? Maybe he can speak to the great beyond.
Just the ghost of his past.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the ghost of Christmas past shows up, and Ryung's like, "Don't worry, I'm already a married guy. I'm no Scrooge. It's okay." Ryung's actually a pretty laid back, chill kind of guy. He's a cool guy to hang out with.
Cool. All right, so we are cross positions right away. We'll see if both these players end up going racks first, or we're going to see some sort of gas play right away. Given our positions, we could be in store for a pretty long macro game. It is a definite possibility. Racks coming down before
nothing wrong
gas.
with that, man.
Yeah, but macro TVT can go one of two ways. Macro TVT can be great air battles, multiple drops, exciting bio engagements in the middle, or World War I tanks.
Maybe, man. I mean, it's true. It's true. Sometimes there's a bit of a standoff involved in it, but it's more the anticipation then.
That's true.
It's like when these armies meet, what's going to happen?
Very true, very true. And we'll see if we get the exciting variety coming out now. Strelok just going ahead and walling off, so he built that supply depot for just a couple of seconds, and he's going to expand behind that. Actually, it looks like both players are going to go ahead and offer up a 1-Rax gasless FE.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. I mean, we saw Ryung actually, if we go back to his natural there, just starting the supply depot but not finishing it, just preventing any sort of scouting until he gets that SCV finishing the barracks, and then he's going to finish the depot. You see that pretty often in Korea.
Yep, Strelok going with that. It's going to be a pretty good strategy for him.
Oh, you're right, that's Strelok. Oh my gosh. No. What's going on? Just like slap me if that happens again. I can't do that anymore. I've worn that one out.
No, it's all right. Command center already coming down now for Ryung down at the bottom left-hand corner. And because he decided to allocate the resources earlier into that supply depot, Strelok was a little bit slower on his orbital command, but shouldn't affect things too much. He does have a second command center coming up at his natural as well.
Yeah, both players about the same as far as that goes. Now, Strelok didn't get a lot of scouting of Ryung's base. SCV died right away.
And
sad but true.
Double gas coming out for both players right away, so it looks like we're going to have a mech transition. Of course, they could switch things up on us and add multiple barracks and just go straight into, like, serious upgrades, but I think more than likely we're just going to see some good old-fashioned factories hitting the floor.
Well, you see a lot of different things with this. I mean, you see the common thing in the past was to add on like 3 more barracks after doing a gasless fast expand, just so you had enough Marines to defend against things. Then players were like, well, if he does that, but I get 2 gases, I'm going to have a huge tech advantage. So then you have both players trying to outthink each other, and then both players get the 2 fast gases. So it's kind of that's one of the great things about TVT as a matchup, is it constantly evolves faster than any other matchup in StarCraft 2 as well. TVT 1 week is different than TVT the week before. I like it.
Yeah, I'd always like the Druby opening as well, where you went for that 4 racks and made about 16 to 20 Marines and then just pressured your opponent. TVT, it worked pretty well until players started abusing Hellions, and then we had, a pretty market switch in the matchup. Factory down for Strelok, though. Ryung did actually add barracks number 2 going into a factory after that, so may just be moving into Marine tank as fast as possible.
Yeah, Strelok, I think we might see some reactored Hellions coming out of him there, actually. He's putting that reactor down on the barracks. Factories nearby, could see it switch over again. It's all about that map control. You want to get those Zelnaga towers on a map like this. You want to make sure that you prevent your opponent from getting information. So I have to see if he actually decides to do that or not. He could be moving right into tanks as well. And there's the tech lab right away in the factory, so I think you're actually right with that.
And we'll see what Ryung's up to. No, it's just going to be right into a starport. There's finally the tech lab on the factory. And Strelok is actually moving his barracks away. So something's going to go down on the reactor. No, you were right, good sir. Oh.
We're just so mannered. No, I think you were right. No, you were right.
There
it
go
is.
on.
We're both right.
Yes.
All right, there you go. 2 Hellions on the way from Strelok. In the meantime, Ryung's getting his starport as well. And Blue Flame, this is again what I was talking about a little bit earlier, is that there's kind of that controversy. Oh, no, he canceled it actually,
yes,
so never mind. Players have been, kind of Terran players have been wrestling with this right now. It's like, well, if I get Blue Flame, that's still that much more damage to the units that get hit by it, but it just doesn't two-shot things anymore like it used to. It doesn't two-shot SCV and Marines.
Yeah, but if you send around a pack of 4 Blue Flame Hellions, still super effective against a group of Marines.
Still do a lot of damage, yeah. So players are kind of figuring that out right now. They're like, is it really worth it to get that early Blue Flame anymore? Ryung thinking maybe yes, and then no. So
yeah, Marine Tank Viking coming right up for Ryung, though. He did just start Stim Pack as well. It's coming well ahead of Strelok. Strelok even have, okay, he finally just finished up a tech lab on his barracks, so we'll be able to move into some upgrades here in a bit, but he is committing to Banshees at the moment. Banshee actually followed by Raven.
Ah, okay. That's a good idea too. I mean, it's nice to get that Raven out there. If you can't use it to see Cloak Banshees, you can use it for a lot of other things. So it's going to be a useful unit regardless. Definitely not a waste or anything there. Ryung putting up his engineering bay is going to want to get those infantry upgrades going. This is kind of an interesting thing we've seen since the Hellion nerf, is that there's been a lot of Terran players going back to that Marine tank style that was so popular before players really used Hellions a lot in the matchup too.
Yep, certainly. Looks like we got tired of Hellions. We decided, how can we make people go back to more World War I style tank battles?
Yeah.
Yes, nerf Hellions.
Strelok, though, he's not going to go that way. 2 more factories on the way for him. So we're going to see some mech play. That is awesome.
Indeed, Strelok already attacking with 1 Banshee. He's gotten himself a couple of kills, but it's going to need to run away. No! Banshee goes down right away. Looks like he's a little more worried about the Viking that's actually inside of his base, taking out his Raven as well.
Really
doesn't get
smart
saved.
move by Ryung, moving that in there.
Wow.
Yeah, just gets a free Raven. That's 200 gas. That Strelok's not really getting a benefit from it all now.
Yeah, that Viking actually taking a couple of pot shots at buildings while they're in the air as well. Yeah. This barracks, of course, not really going to be used for much anymore, as Strelok has decided to move over into heavy mech mode. Does have a lot of Hellions up at the front, Blue Flame on the way as well, but doesn't have anything to go ahead and push in against this bunker in Siege Tank.
Yeah, I just love that decision by Ryung, too, to get that Viking. That really shows a really good understanding of the matchup, where it says, I see how many Hellions you've made. I know that you're not going to really have a lot of Marines. I'm just going to send my Viking over there. I'm going to do some scouting, and if I'm lucky, I can kill a unit or 2, and that's exactly what he got out of it.
And yeah, worked out really well for him. When you think about the money invested in that Banshee and Raven, that's a considerable advantage. Really no loss.
Very true.
For Ryung. So here we have it. Strelok moving into, let's see what he's producing. 2 tanks, 2 Hellions, Blue Flame, and Vikings at the same time with an armory coming up. So pretty standard composition of mech. Ryung, on the other hand, adding a bunch of reactors. So he is going to move into, looks like Super Marine mode at the moment. Actually going to cease Siege Tank production.
Yeah, it looks that way. He even put that reactor down. They built it on the factory. I think we might see even another starport there possibly, or he might make some Hellions. Who knows? Nope, he is going to lift that off. Probably build another barracks there. Yep, there's the barracks.
Strelok going to meet him in the middle, though. We'll find out if Ryung has enough. Oh, but he does move to the Xel'Naga Tower at just the right time. Strelok doesn't feel like he wants to engage yet. However, he did just force a stim out of most of those Marines, and that damage is permanent. As there are, well, I guess there's 1 medevac in there. I apologize.
You can use a lot of energy, though, and you know what? Those Marines do not have combat shield right now as well, so those Hellions are going to be extra effective against them. Those Marines, of course, having 10 less health without the combat shields upgrade.
And Ryung's going to make his way up to the 12 o'clock with a drop. However, the barracks should be able to spot that if Ryung takes the path. I think he will. And yeah, we already saw the rally point of it heading right past the barracks. So Strelok will be privy to this. Neither player is taking the third right. Yeah, okay, let's see. Actually, looks like Ryung now going to move out with his third. So neither player had established those on the map quite yet. Strelok actually building it inside of his base. He does have the supply advantage at the moment. Only 5 of that in workers, but he's got to watch out as there's a big drop coming in.
Uh-oh, yeah, drop in Strelok's main, and he does not have anything there to respond yet. Ryung's going to at least be able to get a supply depot or 2.
Looks like
maybe.
He's
focusing the armory.
And that armory is going to fall.
He does. Wow, that is really going to set Strelok back. One of the things you need if you're going to go mech is you need those upgrades. and you also need a Thor or two, usually in most cases.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Another drop going down inside of the main for Strelok as well. So he's going to try and do as much damage as he just received. How many workers have gone down yet? Looks like we're pretty even. Strelok actually hasn't taken too many kills quite yet. Blue Flame Hellions are going to be able to clean up a few bio forces, but they actually don't do that much economic damage.
Yeah, Strelok not really controlling those Hellions too much. He missed the SCVs getting brought back in there again. But Ryung, creating those Marauders is going to keep him very Hellion-proof as well. And Marauder tank, that's going to do pretty well against Strelok's composition right now if he can get Strelok unsieged. I don't know, Strelok's still looking really strong at the moment, though.
Yeah, and let's see, there are quite a few Marauders there. As you mentioned, it looks like he's going to try and move up and catch these units unsieged. He does a little bit of damage to the Hellions and then decides just to move away. Strelok not done engaging, though, moves up with the Hellions, actually sacrifices a few more, only gets off a couple of hits with his siege tank. So Ryung actually looks like he got a little bit of the better of that engagement.
Yeah, the Hellions are, I don't want to call them disposable, but you do want to use them as a buffer for the siege tanks.
Right.
The tanks are going to be your damage dealers in this mech composition, obviously. So the Hellions are a little bit sacrificial in this case. So what you really want to do is bring out a few SCVs with your army to repair. Like right now, Strelok doesn't have any SCVs out there. They could be repairing those Hellions and making them that much more durable for the next engagement. So it's little things like that that can make the difference in these games.
And Ryung working a very, very large drop down at the bottom right-hand corner. This Marine was patrolling back and forth.
Yeah.
So Strelok is actually not going to pick up on this. However, that third is not down at the bottom right. It is actually in the corner, or sorry, the inside pocket expansion. So Ryung not going to be able to do any damage right away. He is going to have to walk those units up, and it looks like he is thinking about a big old flank.
He is going to flank indeed. The Hellions are going to try to scout around for Strelok to see if he can see. No. Looks like Ryung going right into the natural. He's going to try to cut up some reinforcements as well. Oh, wow. Those supply depots do not last long against Marauders, do they?
No, not at all. And it looks like Ryung going to make his way up from the bottom left-hand corner as well. He immediately runs through the Hellions. However, the Siege Tanks have already dished out quite a bit of damage, but nothing has stopped this drop quite yet. And Strelok may very well lose his next orbital command.
Whoa,
a few
close.
Marines going after it, and it looks like it's getting repaired as well, but still, Strelok is going to lose a lot of forces.
Yeah, and again, no armory right now. Strelok's got an armory that's like half finished at the moment. Still no upgrades really at all. His mech is still 0-0, while Ryung's is 2 attack, 1 armor, the infantry, and these Marauders are going to get a fine tour of the base of Strelok.
Continuing to do damage, continuing to kill workers. At the same time, he's moving up with his Marauders and picking off the Siege Tanks. Oh my god. A huge supply advantage for Ryung now. He's up by 60 overall. He's already effectively denied the mining of one base. He's prevented the upgrades for so long, as you've already mentioned. Another group of forces making their way out. More siege tanks are going to fall, and Ryung is doing so much damage.
I think Ryung is about ready to end this one, honestly. I mean, there's not a whole lot that Strelok can really do at this point. You can see he's even landed his Vikings because he needs that ground force right now. In the meantime, Ryung getting +2 armor, +3 infantry attack right now, while Strelok's still just on 0-0. Ryung's going to have a hard time moving up the ramp, but you know what? That's okay. He doesn't need to.
Exactly,
he just needs to prevent Strelok from taking a third, and that's going to be pretty easy with what Ryung has right now.
Agree with you 100%, as we have a 4th down for Ryung at the top left-hand corner as well, turning that into another orbital command because he feels like he's not going to come under any sort of a threat, so he has that liberty to go ahead and get that done. And like you mentioned, Strelok is now on just effectively 1 mining base, not much going on here at all. And the longer he sits there, the bigger the advantage that Ryung's going to get. He knows it. He's actually taking his 5th and 6th bases at the same time. And wow, this is really, really great play out of Ryung.
Well, Ryung is showing us exactly how to play bio against mech. It's to drop, kill important buildings, and also expand way, way more than your opponent. And he's doing that wonderfully here. You can also see what good army positioning you can do on Shakura's Plateau. I don't know if Shakura's Plateau is necessarily really a good map for mech play. Like, certain maps favor that more than others, whereas maps like Shakura's and also Tal'Darim Ultra would be another example of a map that generally can favor bio play if the bio playing Terran is really good positionally like Ryung is capable of being.
And Strelok is caught way out of position. This drop is actually going to do quite a bit of damage. He's got a couple of tanks coming back, but that amount alone, don't know if it's going to be enough to make the difference. Already the Marauders are making their way down, pick off one of the tanks. The second one goes down as well. Those tanks still not upgraded at all. Production structures are being camped as well, but Strelok can't move out of position with these tanks. Otherwise, Ryung could have run right up the front.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, things are a little bit falling apart for Strelok, unfortunately. He's got stuff in his main that he's going to have a hard time dealing with just because he doesn't have a lot of units. And here comes Ryung right up the front here. I don't know if this attack is really going to break through. We'll see. Wow, that is the strength of upgrades right there.
And
GG.
GG. Congratulations, Ryung. He takes game number 1.
Yeah. Now, just imagine, if you will, Cat's Pajamas, if those tanks had been